Today I'm joined by Dawn Davies, head buyer of the Whisky Exchange and Speciality drinks. She's an absolute legend within the industry. What she doesn't know about booze is not worth knowing, and a really, really lovely person as well. So we're going to sit down, have a drink and have a chat. It's now recording. I'm so desperate to cycle home today, but I think it's not going to happen.
Probably not.
No. You said that Lorcan's coming down as well.
Lorky's coming, and have you met Chanel?
No.
She's the one that did 24 hours with me and Mitch. It's fucking hysterical. We went to trailer. We decided we needed to go to the market. I bought her this hat. That was later on in the evening.
I'm going to take my shoes off. Do you mind? They don't smell.
I walk around with my shoes off the whole entire day. It's upsetting now because we've got people back in the office. I'm like, oh, I can't wear my slippers.
Can you not?
Well, I could. I think people have given up judging me. In the middle of lockdown, I was like, I'm just going to go in my pajamas and see if anyone notices. And I walked in and the Susan's like, didn't notice. And normally he's quite on it, like he'll notice something. Like if I'm going out, he notices more that if I've dressed up. So today he's like, where are you going?
No secret dates for you, Dawn. Do you want another beer, by the way?
That was nice, actually. What was that? I like Camden. I've always liked Camden. Jasper and I became very good friends. I was the first person to sell him. It's selfishness. I was, again, one of the first people to sell Beavertown. And Logan used to call me all the time, blah, blah, blah. We used to chat, we used to go out drinking. Same with, like, Sam at Sipsmith. Sam used to deliver Sipsmith to me on his scooter.
I want to be that guy. How do you be the guy that delivers it on a scooter to you and then ends up being
a multi-millionaire?
Yeah.
It's not fair, is it?
Do you have that answer? Because that would be if you do, that would be really helpful to tell us.
If I look at the brands I've launched and then they've gone on to become huge, it's quite substantial. It's Selfridges were the first people to sell Fever-Tree.
Fever-Tree, Beavertown, Sipsmith.
Fever-Tree, Beavertown, Sipsmith. Well, Sipsmith we went the first, but we did a hell of a lot with them. Monkey, Hendrix, Aperol. I was one of the first people to bring Aperol into the country. Seedlip.
I still don't get Seedlip, by the way, but someone does.
Do you know what? I just knew he'd done something genius. I don't believe in any non-alcohol alcs. I think they're all fucking potassium sorbate and freaking citric acid, and that's all they are. But he was so clever in terms of marketing. He's never drunk alcohol. I thought the packaging, I thought what he'd done at the right time in the right place. I thought if there's going to be one brand that's going to do it, it's going to be him. I do love a beer. I started with beer. First ever drink. There's a picture of me. So when my parents left Kenya, because the first country I ever kind of lived in was Kenya, and my dad, when we moved to Rome, he had like a leaving party, and I must have been about 3 years old. People just had left the dregs, and I mind swept.
No!
And there's this picture of me, and I've got this really chubby cheese, this blonde hair, like kind of golden curly blonde hair, and I'm just like this. Little did my parents know that is how I would continue for the rest of my life.
As a parent of a 1-year-old, that is a scary thought.
Don't leave alcohol lying there because it will be drunk. Then because we were in Italy and things, and then you know when you're in Europe, you're brought up with alcohol. My father always gave me a little sip of his beer or wine with water when we were having food. So I grew up with it. So when I went to America, and like I remember all my friends were like, oh my God, like alcohol. I was like, been there, done that. My best friend is amazing. She's a girl in America. She's super awesome. And we were laughing the other day, remembering some stuff. And I said to her, do you remember we used to sit in the kitchen? My dad had the booze cupboard on the ground. And me and Kate, we used to sit there and we used to drink the Sambuca. And we used to literally drink shots of Sambuca. My mom and dad never realised.
You're kidding.
I must be like 11. Alcohol was always in my house, but in a very responsible way, even though maybe like drinking Sambuca. Practice makes perfect, clearly. I never used to get hangover. Well, even now, it's rare that I get a hangover. I get tired, even if I'm up till 3 a.m. I'll be at work at 7.
What does it take to do the role that you do?
I think a lot of people don't realise what I actually do.
I have no idea.
I was hired to be the buyer, doing deals, that would be sourcing new product, going out there, getting the right product to put on the website, curating a range.
And that's what I think you do.
And I do that. And that's a massive part of my job. There's so much in that role. I'm someone that always believes that I need to be ahead of the trend. I will set trends. I don't follow trends. You can really think outside the box. You've got to anticipate what's going to be popular before it becomes popular. That's why I go to bars so much, because I want to hear what you guys are seeing. I want to see what people are drinking. I work in the shops over Christmas because I want to understand what customers are drinking. I manage my 3 amazing teams that work in the shops. I have the best teams on the planet. I think we have some of the most incredible incredible people working in those shops. They've got so much knowledge. It's incredible. I run the events team, which means I do all the events.
And that's the cognac show, the champagne
That's the cognac show, the champagne show, the rum show, whiskey show and Old and Rare. And then now, in front of a camera all the time. Over the lockdown, me and Billy have become the faces of the Whisky Exchange. My job title is head buyer for Speciality drinks. I describe myself as General Dog's Body. I am in a hugely high pressure job. You have to be able to multitask. I manage, if you took all the shop staff, about 40 people. I spend a lot of time answering emails. I spend a lot of time on boring spreadsheets, which I hate. I am probably the only buyer in the world that hates maths and can't do it. So I have dyscalculia, which means I see numbers backwards. I have to conquer the things I'm bad at. And maths was one, and Sukhinder and Raj are the same. You know, they challenge me on the math side of things because it is my weak side, and it's made me become better. For something like buying, you can't just have a great palate. You have to make the margins.
You're not head taster. You're
no.
head buyer.
Head buyer.
/ dog's body. Yeah.
So you know,
General
dog's body. A lot of buying is about not what you know; it's about who you know. So it's reaching out to people to kind of get what you need, or
so you reach out to them rather than them reaching out to you.
Yeah, a lot of times. Sometimes it can work both ways. I've been in this industry 20 years, and over 20 years you build up a network of incredible people, and we're so lucky in this industry. Do have some of the most incredible people working with us. Going into bars is super important, as I said to you before, because you guys are seeing it. You know, people are coming in, they want to sell you something. You just showed me a rum today. I was like, oh, that's super cool. I didn't know it. And then I might seek that brand out. We did a lot of work with Worthy Park last year because we really believed in the brand. If you're a really strong retailer and a strong player in the industry, you can make brands. When I've really believed in brands, I've really been able to launch them, not just locally, but sort of globally. I get approached by a lot of brands, a lot. And sadly, you know, one of the key things is packaging. If I see a product, it could be the best liquid in the world. The packaging shit, I just know it's not going to sell. I'm not even going to look at it. In retail or in bars, it's a little easier because you can hand sell something. But on a shop shelf or on a web shelf, it's harder because that product has to speak for itself by its label. And I think a lot of startup brands, they go and they ask their friends. Do not ask your friends what the packaging looks like. They're just going to tell you it looks great, and it doesn't. Put it against the really successful brands on a shelf and see what it looks like. Does my product actually look good? And then show random Joe blogs on the street and say, which one of these would you pick up? I'm quite brutal. I am very direct. If you ask my opinion, I'll give it to you. But don't then say that I'm wrong or you don't like the answer. If I've said no once, unless you've done a 360, I'm going to keep saying no. The more you push me, the more I'm going to put those walls down and say, not buying it. It isn't easy. When you've created something, it's your baby. And I do get that. I do get it's your baby. But especially if you've come from not the drinks industry, you don't understand spirits. I'm sorry, you don't, unless you've really immersed yourself in it. You can't just say, I'm going to buy a blended rum. I'm going to make a gin. You have to do your research. You have to do taste tests. You have to go to people that have palates to do taste tests with. It's new and innovative because I put odor shit in it. That's the problem right now. I think it's too easy for people to get in and create a brand without they haven't done the necessary legwork before doing it. I get approached by maybe 20 brands a day. I can't respond in depth to every brand. Someone like me, to do that, would probably charge about £700 a day. There was a cream liqueur that actually made me throw up one time. I did give feedback actually because she harassed me so much. Just so you know, your product actually almost made me vomit. 70% of the products I buy are probably things that I wouldn't drink. Gin liqueurs, spiced rums, just not my thing. And but sometimes you do look at it, you think, do you know what's in a gold bottle? It's probably going to sell.
It's going to sell.
If I just bought the products I like, we would do no sales.
What would those products be?
Claran, bit more Claran.
How's your rum cream liqueur category going?
Well, I've just done Bumbu. Something like Bumbu has brought new customers into a category that I want new customers in, because I want them to go from Bumbu to Foursquare to Hampden to Claran. You know, like they've done something to bring people into a category I'm hugely passionate about, that I really want to support, and we shouldn't knock them for that. You see it. You know, how many people have you seen start with Diplo Resex that are now drinking brands like Foursquare and Plantain? What? You're telling me that your first rum was freaking like Foursquare Sassafras? Yeah. My first rum was Ronza Kappa.
The first one I enjoyed was Ronza Kappa, yeah.
You know, and I think we're very quick, especially in the rum industry, we're very quick to condemn, and we shouldn't condemn. We should embrace and teach. There are brands, I think, that have dumbed down the category, that started with something credible and have actually dumbed down. And those are the brands that I probably disrespect the most. Fair play to Bamboo. They moved their ABV up. They listened. They understood they were not legal. We give them shit for putting XO on the bottle. Who's giving Flor de Cana shit for putting 15 on the bottle? Who's giving Dictador shit for women dressed in leather fucking... That, for me, is a bigger issue than anything Bamboo's ever done. You don't bring people on a journey if you attack them for what they're drinking. You bring people on a journey by saying, okay, it's super interesting you like that. I can give you this, this, and this.
Go for it. Go for it.
It's just Roger. Roger, I love you, but... Rum is 100% going to be the next brown spirit that sort of really takes the market by storm, because everything, when you look at trends, they're really easy to predict. Think about how you progress your drinking. So when you're a child, you have a sweet palate because you're given things like fruit juices, you might be given soft drinks, sodas. As you go through your drinking lifestyle, your first alcoholic drink is normally something that doesn't taste of alcohol mixed with a soft drink. Neutral things that just give you a buzz but don't necessarily give you a flavour. It's the sweetness and the tonic that probably make people drink gin, not necessarily the gin that makes people drink gin. As your palate changes and you probably start moving into kind of more sort of vegetables, or you're drinking more coffees, more teas, that's where bitterness and flavour comes into your palate, which is why we're seeing so many sweet gins now and flavoured gins.
I love the flavour pink.
Oh, pink is a great flavour. Pink, as you can see, head to toe pink. The only pink in my life is the flamingo kind of pink. We get more attuned to bitterness as we get older. Therefore, you're going into darker spirits that have more bitterness, and dark spirits do tend to have more bitterness because there's the influence of wood, which gives you tannin, which gives you bitterness. It's actually quite easy to see trends, because if you just follow a generation, you'll follow them drinking through. And there's some things that do fall by the side, like I'm still waiting for Riesling to come back. Still waiting. There are things that you can definitely predict, and rum makes sense because you're transitioning from, say, a gin, and a flavoured gin in particular, into something sort of sweeter, and rum fits that category. Whiskey doesn't fit that category. Whiskey's a trend right now.
Is it a trend?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think whiskey is, you see it in investment-wise, you see it in kind of the sales. Whiskey is having an awesome time right now. Spirits has become sexy. And gin's probably responsible for that, because it wasn't like whiskey where you had to lay it down for like 10 years before you got anything decent. Gin, you could just like snap your fingers. I know what I'll do. I'll give up living in the city and I'll make a gin, or working in the city and I'll make a gin. It's not that easy. And there'll be a lot of casualties now. Wine and spirits is something that's so immediate about it. You can give someone pleasure so quickly. To see someone's eyes light up when you take them on a journey of flavor or of taste is probably one of the most rewarding things in the world. I always say, as a sommelier, and that's where I started my journey, that I had to be a psychologist, because in 5 seconds I had to know what you liked, what you wanted to spend, and I had to know your deepest, darkest secrets, because that's the only way I could choose a wine. The most successful people in this business are people that are people, because you have to read people. The biggest skill I have is not my palate, it's my ability to work with people. The biggest skill anyone can have is hearing. Not listening, hearing. You can listen to someone. If you don't hear what they're saying, you won't understand what they want. I found recently, especially with sommeliers nowadays, they just want to give you what they want to drink. But if I don't like freaking natural wine that's bubbly and tastes like cider, I like natural wines that are made well. Let's just make that very clear. I've been very lucky. I was front of house for one of the best restaurants in the UK, and the one thing that I'll always say that I did was customer. And I don't know if that's maybe something I learned from America. The customer's always right, and you will find a way of making that customer feel good. You have to be able to schmooze people. You have to be able to, and that's an art form that I think in the UK we haven't really done enough of. Is that Lorky?
No. Hello.
Lorky!
Look at you, even with a cheeky drink. Yeah. Have you been sat at the bar?
Can you go make me a drink?
Can I make you a drink? There's people who are far more skilled than I. Have you told Lewis about how I tried to make you drink shit Shiraz?
Oh my effing god. Just so you know, this was the moment Lorcan lost me as a friend. I have pictures. This is Lorcan after...
After what? After
the
being on a building site? Is this cycling gear, or are you going parachuting or something?
Anyway, I'll let you guys finish doing your filming.
What is it that motivates you, and what changes would you like to see within the industry?
I love this industry. This is my industry. This is an industry I will fight for. You know, we are family. I hope that even though I am a bit hard ass and blunt and I get stressed and I get frustrated, you know, I think at the end of the day, I think I do my job with empathy. I will always show empathy and I'll always give people my time if they ask for my help. I have maybe the ability, hopefully, to give that passion back into the industry. I've had so much support throughout my career. People like Dave Broom, Sakindo, John Anders, Tom Bartram, Thomas. There are so many people that give so much time and energy. I can give that back. Now we're in such a much more global community. We can affect change on a much bigger level. Lewis, you know that this year has been a hugely challenging year for me, personally. See? Maybe Superwoman, but I definitely have kryptonite. Mental health in our industry, I think, is something that really needs to be addressed. Because we're passionate, creative people, that also carries a lot of emotion. And I've had huge struggles this year. I had to reach out to a therapist. I'm very, very lucky. I have the most incredible friend in my life who made me do that. In this industry, we have to learn to ask for help a lot more. There are some amazing initiatives out there like Drinks Trust, like Healthy Hospo, which are doing incredible work. But I think we have to be the support network. We're the support network when the good times are there, but we need to be the support network for the bad times. Again, it's going back to that hearing and listening. If someone reaches out, hear what they're trying to tell you. For those of you who are struggling with mental health, don't be afraid to ask for help. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, is to ask for help. To go to therapy every week. I keep telling myself I don't need it, but I do. And it's helped hugely. It's really made a massive difference in my life. I couldn't have done it without it this year. And I think as an industry, we have to do so much better to talk about mental health. We have to not be afraid to say that we're sad. You know, we're the life and soul of the party. I'm the life and soul of the party. I'm sad, what's going on? You know, we shouldn't be afraid of that. It's an industry where you have to be on 100%. So we're really not good at being off. It's almost harder because you're not allowed to be sad in this industry. And I think we need a much better support network. And, you know, I'd say to anyone out there, if you ever feel sad, message me, even if I can just send you a hug back, because I know how important in this year those people around me have been, that have reached out when I need a hug or send me stupid pictures of flamingos and just generally keep you happy, you know. And I think that's what I would love to give back to the industry.
Dawn, thank you so much for joining me today. Hugely awesome spending time with Dawn. We could just chat for hours, but to be honest, I'm not going to expect you to sit through hours of our conversation on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been interesting. I'll put loads of links in the description below. We'll do some more videos with Dawn another day. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
I love it.